Fire Emblem Heroes, right? I really don't know what you guys think about it. I've heard a lot of buzz on the internet that say this is a really generous free-to-play game. I've heard a lot of buzz saying this is Fire Emblem for babies. What's the read here? You guys have all been playing it.
Well, JV reviewed it. So
yeah, I reviewed it.
Let's have him set the table.
Let's hit him first.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I'm one of the biggest Fire Emblem fans in the office.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Kim plays it. Tack, you play it.
I do.
Yeah, I love the series, and I was skeptical about how it would translate to mobile. And
hang on, I'm sorry, JV. We're gonna have to stop because Dantak's trying to be the funniest MFer. And if you only listen to the audio version of this show, just imagine that Dantak basically put a clown nose on his face and is honking it while staring into the camera lens. And then he actually has a sign, which is kind of like a clock on a chain around his neck, and it says, "Meme me, please." Meme
exactly
me.
what's happening here.
Okay, sorry,
please
JV,
make
go
a
on.
gif of this.
Yeah, okay,
Hold on,
go
I'm
on.
stunned
JV.
right now. I need a second.
Let's inform the listeners, JV. What do we got?
All right, I'm back.
You're the biggest fan in the office.
Yeah. I love Fire Emblem. I was skeptical about how it would translate to mobile, and I think they did a pretty decent job of it. But there are some, like, it plays like a streamlined, very easy version of the Fire Emblem games because the main series Fire Emblem games, they can take up to like 30 minutes to maybe an hour in the harder matches.
Yeah.
Just because you have so many units, there are different strategies, there's terrain you have to take into account. But they've really, for the mobile version, the games are lightning fast. Like, they usually don't last longer than 5 minutes. It's a very fan servicey game. It sort of operates on this idea of, it's a gacha game, so there's a booster pack sort of mentality to it where you do battles and you earn orbs, and then you can summon heroes to your army, and it's a random hero every time. And initially that's exciting, especially as the game, you're playing the game early on, but as the game goes on, that's sort of like the loot box thing from Overwatch. You can get duplicates, and that's infuriating because you can spend like an hour like just farming orbs, and then, well, I already have this unit. This sucks.
We don't like Ike.
Yeah. Oh, poor Ike. But there's also a stamina bar, and that's really the big issue for me.
What?
Yeah, battles cost stamina points. Early on, it's like 2 points. Later on, it's like 5. And I think, Tack, do you remember like the
later on, it's around like 15.
Yeah, it gets pretty brutal.
So that's just kind of like an energy meter.
Yeah, it's an energy meter basically, and takes 5 minutes for a single point to regenerate.
Oh,
and so
I didn't
it's
know this.
very easy for you to run your bar down and then not be able to play the game for a good bit unless you have stamina potion, which you're gifted those as like weekly login bonuses or daily login bonuses, or you're willing to give up a single orb to regenerate the bar, but you use that orb for everything. That's the game's universal currency. So what Heroes is trying to strong arm you into doing is paying real money for orbs. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So it seems like this is made for people that really like the strategy of Fire Emblem.
Right.
Don't want a narrative-heavy experience. Can tolerate some, free-to-play stuff, and just want a streamlined version of Fire Emblem on the go.
Yeah, that's basically it. And
Okay.
it works as that, but to me, there are some elements, and I understand why those elements are missing from Fire Emblem that make Fire Emblem that aren't there. Like, obviously, there's a lack of a permadeath option. And I know why that is because, people don't want to spend so much time earning a character or paying hard cash for a character only for them to disappear.
Totally get it.
But, it would be nice if there was some compromise there somehow. Like, okay, your character died in battle, you can't use them for a good bit. Or just like a toggle for that.
Right.
Just so people who are really into that permadeath thing can have that,
yeah,
and it won't affect other players. And there's also the lack of the relationship stuff. Awakening and Fates, part of what made the series popular again, because Awakening was supposed to be the last Fire Emblem.
Really? I didn't know that.
It has a kind of Final Fantasy story to it where, okay, this is our swan song, but the relationship mechanic where in Awakening and in Fates you can marry characters together, and it's not, and most characters can be paired off with each other. Like you can't do combinations for every single character, obviously, and these games are huge. We're talking about like up to 50 characters in an army usually that for each game, not on the battlefield, but just in your roster, and you can pair most of them together. But it's kind of disappointing that you can't do that in this game. Like you can't pair them off, you can't have them flirt with each other or anything like that.
No relationship stuff.
No relationship stuff. Like it's weird because you can go into their like profile on the game and look at illustrations of an illustration of them and poke them, and they'll say like horny things, like very sultry things, but you can't actually have them interact with each other outside of the battlefield.
They call them little horny nothings.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
So Dan, what is your read on this game as a free-to-play game?
I would say that it is an awful game at
Holy
best.
Lord!
At best. That's at its best. And at its worst, it's a psychologically manipulative, awful, exploitative.
Compared to Fire Emblem games or compared to the average strategy game that's available on mobile?
Compared to anything. I mean, a lot of mobile games are guilty of the same practices, so it's not just this game. But it's more remarkable, I think, when you take a series like Fire Emblem that is really rich in strategy and story and character development and all these things, and you just distill it down to a gambling box that preys upon gambling addiction.
This sounds like Final Fantasy All the Bravest. I mean, that is what I consider the worst of like
that
gambling box.
That is the worst thing. Final Fantasy All the Bravest is obviously the worst thing.
Okay.
This is obviously not.
It's obviously the worst thing to ever happen in the Final Fantasy series.
It is obviously not that bad because nothing can be as bad as All the Bravest. That's like the lowest bar possible, right?
Sure. I'd argue the way you're dressed is the lowest bar possible, but go on.
We like to go lower. They go high, we go lower. All right? But yes, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You need 5-star heroes to compete, and they are very rare. I think 3% drop rate or something like that. And you will have to, more or less, pay to get the best team. It's theoretically possible to get it without that, but not really.
Hang on. Okay,
and let me get this. This is like one of the worst offenders because there are special animations and videos that play when you land one of these 5-star heroes that don't play otherwise. It's really trying to get in your mind and psychologically associate good things happening with making purchases. It's the worst.
But you can get 5-star heroes just randomly. Kyle, you're making a face. That just seems like acknowledging that these are cool things in the game.
Yeah. I definitely lean. I've played about like half the game. I know Dan's big issue with this game, and Dan, you can go into this more, is like the end game is where you're kind of like getting frustrated with it, right?
I mean, I'm not frustrated with it. It's just a terrible game.
Yeah. Well, but you're upset how much it costs to keep playing at this higher level. You've beaten the game at this point, but you're still playing and collecting new heroes, right?
You can't really beat the game, but yeah.
Well,
I've beaten all.
There's a
campaign.
campaign.
I've beaten the normal mode campaign. It's very short.
Right.
It's 9 chapters.
Because that's the part that, as we say this is like Fire Emblem for babies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm that baby. I don't really like Fire Emblem. It takes too long.
It's just not Fire Emblem. It's just a stupid mobile game.
Okay, it's a stupid mobile strategy game.
But the Jamie, will you stand up for this game?
Yeah,
they're throwing a Fire Emblem skin on an exploitative gacha
but
machine.
it still plays like Fire
The strategy,
Emblem.
I'm enjoying the strategy.
plays like a very streamlined Lightning version of Fire Emblem. It's a good entryway for someone who wants to go, okay, what does... Okay, so this is what I'll be playing if I were to pick up a main entry Fire Emblem in the series. This is what I'd be doing most of the time. Just longer versions of this, and I feel like that's fair. And one of the reasons I'm not in love with this game. I think I gave it either a 7 or 7.25.
Better than the worst thing that's ever happened to your phone.
Right. But part of the reason I really like it is, or not really like it, but I appreciate it is there's a meaty campaign. Yeah, like 9 chapters. It took me a good bit to get through that.
And there is like an actual story.
There's nothing to it. There's not a story.
I mean, it's not a good story, but there's a story.
But that's the part I'm enjoying. Like, I don't see myself playing past the campaign.
Yeah, like I hit a wall at like 10 hours.
And it's that weird thing. I'm not in the market for a game that I'm playing infinitely. I'm in the market for like something I can play for a while and then put down.
Yeah, and if you look at it like what Nintendo has offered mobile-wise so far, you have Pokemon Go, which is kind of been broken a good bit.
Yeah.
You have
not
Super
really Nintendo.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's their foray into the market.
Sure.
The mobile market. You have what is it, Super Mario Run? Which you have to pay money for. Like, you said it's not great, it's not bad.
I do like that model though.
Yeah.
$10 you have the whole game. That's
The internet didn't.
Yeah.
Investors didn't.
They're wrong.
But
Okay.
They're not wrong.
and then, you have Fire Emblem Fates, not Fire Emblem Fates, you have Fire Emblem Heroes, which you can play that whole campaign without having to spend a dime. Like, that's pretty cool.
Like, you came into the office.
The campaign's no good. I'm okay with it being, like you said, a closed circuit experience that has an end. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it doing that. It's just simply not a good game.
So it seemed like the presentation was solid. Just a little bit I played. Like, I think the art held up. I think it's well designed for phones. And then JV, like the first day after it came out, you came into the office. You're like, I played 5 hours of it. I haven't paid anything.
Yeah.
It seems solid so far. Like, I understand everyone has different expectations of phone games, but at least 5 hours for sure then, because that's the last time I checked in with you on this thing.
Yeah, I played 10 hours altogether. And after that's where I hit the wall, where I was just grinding for stuff.
For a free boiled down Fire Emblem.
Yeah. That's,
Come
I mean,
on.
No, I'm not complaining. I think that's great. I think that's really, really good. But, as a fan of the series, there are still bits that disappoint me. But it's not, I do not think it is a bad game. I enjoyed my time with it.
Dan, is it just like the completionist, more hardcore edge of you that's upset that you can't do the endgame stuff while still...
No, it's just that basically I've had enough of these psychologically manipulative practices that are being pushed on mobile
How
games.
would you do it, realistically, still expecting to make a little bit of money? Because it's doing well.
Hey, I'm not saying you can't make money, but this is something that will be regulated at some point in time. And it's basically the mobile market is like the Wild West that just hasn't come down on yet, that people... That they allow these practices to continue.
Just the basic gotcha practices of, hey, put money in here and then we'll give you something.
Put money in, get the best units, become addicted to beating other people with the power of those units.
There's just no way to do that morally.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
I wonder if one of the reasons I'm like less upset by that aspect of the game is because I mean, this might even be embarrassing to admit. This is like my first like Fire Emblem that I've really gotten into, and I'm enjoying the sort of simplified quick strategy. Right. I don't care about collecting those new characters. They don't mean anything to me.
Right, because like you're not attached to the lore.
I've used all my orbs to like increase the experience that I get, and I'm even enjoying kind of going back through and just leveling them up through the earlier levels.
Right,
and I wonder if it's just maybe I just don't really get into that sort of random grab bag stuff. Like it doesn't really do a lot for me. Maybe I'm lucky in that way that I don't that it's not gonna get its hooks into me for that reason.
Well, it's not gonna get its hooks in you because the game just simply isn't that compelling. So that's good. Like, I mean,
it does give me hope seeing how fully featured it was. When they just said it like, hey, we're making a Fire Emblem for mobile, who knows what the hell that could actually be.
Right.
At the same time, they announced that they're making an Animal Crossing for mobile. And so seeing how fully featured this game is, as successful or not, as Dan Tech would argue, it makes me optimistic for the Animal Crossing because they delayed it as well recently, or announced it was coming out at a later date, at least. And that has me really excited to think that like this could be a streamlined but theoretically full Animal Crossing game.
I mean, I didn't say it wasn't successful. It's making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
So
I
it's successful by objectively. I'm just saying it's terrible.
I do wish the thing that would keep me playing is if there was a full. Like the buy it now option that Kyle talked about with Super Mario Run. If I could drop $14 to $20 and just get rid of that stamina bar, just have this game on my phone all the time and just play it over and over again.
I wish it had that.
I that would have made a huge difference in like how I scored it, how much my entertainment value was.
Like Mario Run. Like I really do like the model for Mario Run of just it's $10 you get the full game.
Yeah.
And they also did it for Pokemon Picross, which is a really cool game for DS. Like the price was way too high. It cost $30, but once you hit that $30 mark, like all the sort of you have to wait to play this stuff disappeared. And I feel like they're getting away from that, which kind of sucks because I like that it's an option.
I wonder how much they're going to experiment with free-to-play stuff for the Switch.
I don't know.
Since they, as far as I know, haven't really done it much on Wii U. They must see it as more of a handheld mobile type of thing. But now that the Switch is theoretically handheld mobile as well, right? Like I've got to wonder if
you can't get on the wireless network with it. You can get on Wi-Fi, but you can't get on like the 3G and 4G networks.
Right, but much like a 3DS. I mean, they still experiment with Steel Diver and Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I just wonder if we'll see those types of experiments going on. Danny, you shaking your head at the classic dog Rusty's Real Deal Baseball?
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball is sick.
It's an amazing piece in Nintendo history. I really think it's amazing.
I love how you can negotiate real money on that game. Like,
with
that is
this
crazy.
sad divorced dog that's going to kill himself.
Dan hates it.
It's amazing.
It reminds him too much of himself.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, lordy. Hey, Dan Tech.
Got all those pups you got to take care of, Dan.
Man, this is a heck of a podcast.
I need something
to be fair, you walked in dressed like a clown.
I didn't walk in dressed like a clown.
I see. Great point. Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can click right here if you want to subscribe and listen to the audio version of the full show. Full episodes air every Thursday, and they feature Game Informer editors sitting around talking about the biggest reviews, previews. We talk about exclusive impressions of Game Informer's cover stories. We have long-form developer interviews, everything that's great in gaming. So every Thursday, be sure to check it out.